Hey, managed to get my hands on the Diablo IV Beta, and overall it's pretty good, but I've got a mix of good and bad things I want to quickly talk about. Bear in mind this is only from the beta and I can't fully judge the game.
You cannot judge me!
Okay, so first off, the atmosphere in the parts I played was perfect. This world feels horrific and brutal, especially in comparison to Diablo III, which felt a little bit cartoony. In D3, the storytelling and characters became a little bit too over the top, and the villains always monologued about their evil plans like a Saturday morning cartoon villain.
While you tinkered with your paltry catapults, my demons breached the depths of your keep.
While in D4 we're quickly introduced to Lilith, and she's a much more insidious antagonist and demon.
Not just any demon. The daughter of hatred.
Act 1 has been pretty rich with Diablo lore and connections to the other games that have been genuinely interesting. As someone who loves the Necromancer class, I love that we get to learn more about Rathma.
Rathma? The first Necromancer?
So in terms of storytelling, lore and atmosphere, D4 has been brilliant so far. At the very least, I feel like Diablo 4 will be successful just in terms of its story quests or campaign. Hey, I'm trying to grow the channel, I'm trying to reach 1000 subs, so any help would be greatly appreciated. Thanks. Now with gameplay, Diablo 4 kinda changes the series up quite a bit. This plays a bit more like an open world MMO. There's a world map filled with objectives to tick off, we've got collectibles, generic dungeons and cellars that are already feeling repetitive, and quest hubs littered with generic fetch quests, far more than any previous Diablo. Something I really dislike are scheduled events like in Lost Ark. A world boss can appear on the map, but it'll be a scheduled event with a 30-minute countdown, and it's a weekly quest. You can only get rewards once a week. These are not things personally to my taste, but at the very least the main story quests were top quality. So Blizzard usually creates some of the best movie-like cinematics in the industry, but I was not expecting some of the rendered in-engine cinematics to be so good. There's a cinematic design direction behind a lot of the camera angles, and you're first introduced to Lilith through a gorgeous cinematic. Earlier on you arrive at a small town and you get the irking feeling that something isn't quite right with the villagers, and the cinematics really capture that creepy horror feeling that we've not seen since Diablo II. When it comes to the UI, I wasn't a big fan of the beta UI. Some elements look unfinished to me, but you know, beta. It's a generic font. I personally miss the old Diablo font, but that's subjective, so maybe a choice of font might be nice. I'm also not a big fan of the map. You can't open a large transparent map while actively playing the game, like in previous Diablo games. General gameplay seems pretty good at this stage. We return to slower paced, more methodical gameplay. There's even a dodge function you can use to evade big attacks every 5 seconds or so. I personally like that the gameplay returns to that slower pace, but this is only Act 1 of the game. One of my favourite additions to the series was through the Canai Cube, and that was the ability to extract effects from legendary gear and equip them permanently onto your character. Diablo 4 will have a somewhat similar feature from the start, but you'll need to imprint the legendary effects to a new item rather than your character. I do like that this feature returns, but I'm a little bit worried reprinting the legendary effects onto new gear will become an expensive grind or chore down the line. There's a few other interesting systems like the ability to upgrade your potions and craft elixirs that grant 30-minute buffs. I enjoy these kind of crafting systems, but again, I hope it doesn't become a chore later down the line, when you require those potion buffs to tackle top tier endgame. Something I have mixed feelings on is the talent tree or skill tree. I like big talent trees and Diablo III done away with them, so I'm glad to see them return. We've seen a lot of previews of different iterations of Diablo 4's talent trees as it's been developed. I can't help but feel a little bit disappointed at the talent tree we've arrived at in beta. I mean, it's decent, but I feel a little bit more excited about the earlier previews. Again, I've got to bear in mind this isn't finished. If you break this talent tree down, it's actually very similar to Diablo 3's skill rune system, just disguised as a talent tree with a few bonus nodes. I think it's a little bit better than the skill rune system, like you can choose some of your skills you learn first, and you can put a few points into the same skill. I went all out and made a frost build for my wizard, which was pretty awesome, and the abilities had a lot of synergy with bonus damage to frozen enemies. There's a gold cost for resetting the talent tree, which I thought was a bit unusual when Blizzard's philosophy in their other more modern games allows you to reset these kinds of things for free. I think if the gold cost is too high, players will experiment less and just follow cookie cutter builds. But I don't mind. I can see arguments for having a gold cost and having to commit to your choices. At max level, you'd unlock the Paragon skill tree, which we couldn't preview in beta, but I've seen some preview pictures for it, and that does look exciting, so holding out for that. There were plenty of bugs and performance issues. Blizzard have got 3 months to iron them out, but to be honest, I reckon Diablo 4 will end up delayed, like nearly every other game these days. But we'll have to see. Mind nitpicks aside, I still reckon Diablo 4 is going to be good. The question is just how good. Peace for now.